Picture this, Versailles, 1789, and Marie Antoinette's latest wig isn't a fashion statement. It's an ecological disaster with better housing than the actual peasant's backslash. That tower of powdered insanity she called hair wasn't just perched atop her head. It was a full-blown vermin Airbnb. We're talking generations of mice paying rent in there. Maggot larvae doing interpretive dance routines in the greasy scaffolding backslash. And you think your college dorm was a biohazard? Please. These things stayed glued to scalps for months like decomposing raccoon carcasses wrapped in silk ribbons. Here's the math, cupcake. Take 1 part rancid lard-based pomade, add 6 pounds of flour stolen from starving bakers, sprinkle in the sweat of unwashed nobility for flavor, and you've got yourself a 5-star rodent maternity ward backslash. Historians love gushing about the artistry, while ignoring the very audible crunching sounds coming from Countess so-and-so's headpiece during opera night. My buddy Pierre, rest his soul, died tragically of syphilis and bad life choices. Used to work in the Royal Wig Workshop. Said they'd arrive for maintenance smelling like a Denny's dumpster after a hurricane. Workers would poke a stick in there and entire ecosystems would collapse. One Duke's wig reportedly birthed a new species of moth. They named it Pupa ignoramus backslash. Modern analogy. Imagine if Elon Musk's hairpiece doubled as a Bengal tiger sanctuary, but instead of tigers, it's parasitic lice writing their memoirs. That's exactly what wearing these things was. Your local Starbucks hipster with lice-infested man bun. Amateur hour. These aristocrats treated their wigs like petri dishes of prestige. If your scalp wasn't hosting a flea circus by Tuesday, were you even trying to be fashionable? Marie's hairdresser once bragged her most famous wig had so much life in it. Yeah, because it was basically a Chuck E. Cheese ball pit for urban wildlife backslash. The Versailles reviews were scathing. Monarchs complained of tickling sensations during treaty signings. Turned out it wasn't divine inspiration, just a family of beetles redecorating. A Madame du Barry's wig allegedly sprouted mushrooms after a particularly rainy hunting trip. Not metaphorical mushrooms, mind you. Actual, grocery store Portobello-looking bastards thriving in the damp hellscape of her vanity. Ladies would dunk their wigs in vinegar baths to freshen them up, which just pissed off the resident cockroaches. One courtier's wig combusted spontaneously from methane buildup. True story. Death wasn't a side effect. It was a feature. Mercury-laced powders turned scalps into toxic wastelands. So hair fell out, meaning you needed an even bigger wig to cover the oozing bald spots. It's the circle of stupid. And peasants. Oh, they knew. Pamphlets circulated with cartoons of nobles scratching wigs labeled Rat Habsburg Palace. Still baffles me how the revolutionaries went straight for guillotines when fire ants had already declared war on aristocracy from inside the wig's backslash. Funniest part. While Marie was getting fitted for a wig tall enough to require FAA clearance, actual scientists were discovering penicillin in moldy bread. Perfect metaphor for humanity. One group curing diseases, the other turning their skulls into insect composting facilities backslash. What's the takeaway? Next time you binge-watch Bridgerton and think, whoa, the romance. Remember those star-crossed lovers probably stank like expired K-membered stuffed with dead moths. Look alive next time, literally. You think modern beauty standards are brutal? Try the 18th century aristocrats' morning routine. Slathering their bare scalp with candle wax like they're kneading a half-melted Yankee candle onto their skull. This wasn't self-care. This was chemical warfare against their own epidermis. That greasy, flammable foundation was the VIP lounge for parasitic squatters. You ever see those TikTok influencers using glue sticks for skincare? Same energy. Absolute. Buffoonery. The candle wax ritual, known as Pomatum, if you want to sound fancy while describing biological terrorism, required rendering down sheep fat with perfume. Imagine rubbing a Glade plug-in onto a decomposing carcass and calling it haute couture. They'd let the concoction harden into a greasy skull cap because nothing says, "I'm better than you," like smelling like a butcher shop dumpster fire. The wig itself, a taxidermied animal carcass stapled to a lattice of horsehair and desperation. Top-tier wigs weighed more than a corgi, and they never cleaned them, ever, not once. You know that coworker who microwaves fish in the break room? Multiply that stench by a century of sweat, powdered lead, and decaying lard. These things weren't accessories. They were ecosystems with tenure. Entomologists could have classified new species crawling out of the average duke's headpiece. Ever open a bag of chips left in your car for a month? That's just a Tuesday for Louis Roman XVI court. Here's the punchline. The wax wasn't even beeswax. Too expensive. They used tallow, the same crap they made cheap candles and soap from. So yes, their delete scalp cement was literally garbage byproduct. It's like bedazzling a landfill and calling it a crown. Imagine smearing McDonald's fry grease on your head, never washing it, then wondering why your pillowcase has more biodiversity than the Amazon. This is why Versailles stank like a zoo's septic tank. Marie Antoinette's hairdresser, Leonard, once bragged about using industrial-grade lard to sculpt a wig depicting a naval battle. Of course it attracted rats. It was a grease buffet diorama. They'd scratch their wigs with silver grattoirs and call it hygiene. Translation: redistributing lice colonies like a twisted game of whack-a-mole. And the powders, not innocent cornstarch. They doused their grease monuments in ceruse, lead-based makeup so toxic it dissolved their hair follicles. You read that right. Their cure for baldness caused baldness. It's like treating a gunshot wound with a flamethrower. Peak human innovation. That's why they needed bigger wigs, to hide the weeping, toxic cesspools festering underneath. Think Jeff Bezos' hair plugs, but less structurally sound. My ex-wife Karen tried a DIY version of this once. She mixed Elmer's glue with dollar store glitter and ended up in the ER with decoupage-induced alopecia. Let's talk consequences. Wigs would fuse to scalps like epoxy. Surgeons had to chisel them off during emergency dewiggings. Ever seen a raccoon stuck in a chip can? Same vibe. Lord Pembroke's autopsy report listed fungal colonization as a contributing factor to his death. His wig had become a mushroom farm with delusions of grandeur. The British Museum still has a wig infested with 300-year-old moth larvae. Call it art if you want, but it's just criminal negligence with better lighting. Modern parallel. Hell, we've got slug facials and crystal vagina eggs trending on Instagram. We're still slapping hazardous junk on our bodies. We just use words like organic and energy-aligned to justify the stupidity. Aristocrats didn't die from revolutions. They died from untreated wig rot because ego survival instinct. Next time you see a runway model wearing avant-garde taxidermy at Fashion Week, remember, history doesn't repeat, it just gets better Wi-Fi. By 1725, wig-related vermin had achieved upward mobility. These weren't your basement-dwelling peasants of the pest world. Weevils evolved into social climbers, literally. A single wig shake at a Versailles gala could rain enough beetles to stock a Brazilian rainforest exhibit. Duchesses performed the minuet with lice colonies staging synchronized swimming routines under their horsehair monuments. Entomologists now classify Louis Roman XV head lice as a distinct subspecies. They dined exclusively on caviar residue and powdered aristocrat dandruff. The horror metastasized when people weaponized decomposition as pest control. Ever smell a dead blackbird rotting inside a walnut-sized wig cavity? Of course you haven't. Modern OSHA would nuke that workplace. But Marguerite de Bourbon famously lined her wig with 7 decomposing starlings because some drunken falconer swore predator stench repelled moths. Spoiler, it repelled humans. Her hairpiece became a wildlife graveyard that made Versailles smell like a taxidermist's dumpster fire. DIY solutions spiraled into Darwin Award territory. Fishermen's wives stuffed pilchard guts into wigs believing salt cured hair malaise. Apothecaries sold mercury-soaked sparrow carcasses as nature's repellent, which technically worked since mercury vapor killed both pests and the wig wearer by lunar eclipse. It's the ancestors of those Facebook moms who rub potatoes on herpes sores. Same desperation, fewer FDA warnings. The infestation arms race birthed absurdist battles. Moths evolved jaws strong enough to gnaw through lead powder coatings. Lice staged coups. Lady Montagu's wig required 12 ounces of gunpowder fumigation after her scalp became a bug airborne with 5-star TripAdvisor reviews. Meanwhile, peasants sold mousetrap wigs containing spring-loaded snares. Imagine attending Parliament with a dead rodent click-clacking against your occipital bone like a morbid metronome. Modern hoarders got nothing on powdered wig logic. These people stored entire ecosystems atop their skulls like LinkedIn influencers collecting trauma. Marie Antoinette's inoculation Pouf wig famously housed a fermented honeycomb plus a hibernating squirrel. That's not avant-garde, that's rabies with better PR. Archaeologists still find wig linings fossilized with beetle mandibles and birthing chambers for parasitic wasps. Ballrooms became biohazard zones. A 1783 Dresden Opera incident saw 63 nobles evacuate after a duchess wig unleashed a battalion of silverfish during the crescendo of Don Giovanni. Witnesses described living glitter, cascading onto the orchestra pit, nature's commentary on Baroque excess. And let's autopsy the logic. They treated skull ecosystems like modern crypto bros treat NFTs, utterly worthless yet defended with cult-like fervor. When Count Orlov's wig birthed a hornet swarm during Catherine the Great's Chinese letter, he blamed foreign destabilization, rather than his own rancid scalp biome. Sound familiar? Cough anti-vaxxers cough. The piece de resistance. Post-mortem wig theft. Grave robbers ignored gold teeth but fought over decedent wigs because corpse hair hosted, extra robust, flea colonies ideal for seeding new infestations. You haven't lived until you've seen 2 grown men brawling in a mausoleum over a moth-eaten toupee soaked in leech water. So next time you see a pigeon nesting in a McDonald's sign, tip your hat. It's not urban decay, it's heritage. But the real party started when these walking chia pets decided to defy structural engineering. The 1776 Versailles tower collapse saw Duchess Elizabeth's 4-foot tribute to the grain shortage literally snap her cervical vertebrae during a curtsy. Turns out 12 pounds of horsehair and rancid beeswax obey the laws of physics more than court etiquette. Coroners ruled it suicide by vanity, a trend hotter than smallpox blankets. Then came the Great London Neck Snap epidemic of 1789. Doctors reported 37 crushed Adam's apples from wealthy merchants attempting doorways while sporting businessmen's ambition wigs. Picture a flamingo trying to limbo under a coffee table. Autopsies revealed tracheas flattened like stomped beer cans. Yet society declared these deaths unfortunate posture accidents, like modern CEOs blaming burnout on insufficient gratitude journaling. The piece de resistance. Lead powder as dry shampoo. Aristocrats slathered skulls with radioactive white paste so corrosive, it dissolved wig glue mid-ballroom, resulting in sudden bald spots and a 17th version of Chernobyl bunting. Lord Pembroke's 1784 demise wasn't from his syphilis, but from licking lead-laced sweat off his mistress's wig during a thunderstorm. Final words, tastes, revolutionary. Darwin Award avant la lettre, even childbirth wasn't sacred. Midwives in 1792 Paris noted 7 stillbirths directly attributed to women's birthing wigs toppling onto newborns. Postpartum depression meets postmortem concussions. The official response: royal physicians prescribed thicker wigs for infants to absorb future impacts. Sure Jan, the darkest punchline. These towering rat condos became literal inheritance. Baron von Stuppelbeck's will famously bequeathed his 16-pound sweat-crusted wig to his son with the note, "Wear it in court and you'll finally surpass me." Kid lasted 2 hours before requiring a tracheotomy, then bragged about the scar at parties. Humans, the only species that mistakes intensive care units for flex zones. So when you see Kardashians risking paralysis for whale tail silhouettes, remember, history doesn't repeat. It just upgrades its stupidity to HD. Modern wig wearers owe rats backdated rent checks retroactive to 1763. Your 18-inch Ramai suffragette lace front. That's a displaced rodent family filing an Airbnb complaint about unlisted biohazards. One 19-year-old TikToker in 2021 nearly became Noah's Ark for arthropods after her 72-hour glam sesh. Undocumented beetles migrated from her honeydew-scented tracks to the emergency room's otoscope. Nurses' diagnosis: glamnesia. In generations past, they slapped a dead owl on your head and called it medicine. Now you voluntarily seal nematodes inside 14 layers of Gorilla Glue and claim it's self-care. Cosmetology licenses should come with vermin eviction clauses. A Miami salon in 2019 faced a class action when forensic analysis of a client's discarded kinky twists revealed thrips nests older than her relationship. Who's the parasite here? At least powdered aristocrats had the decency to die of lead poisoning. Modern influencers immunotherapy their way through scabies outbreaks while hashtagging blessed. My ex Karen still owes a Dachau Museum janitor PTSD compensation after demanding they reconstruct Eva Braun's exact hairspray formula for her book club's Holocaust Chic theme night. She considered bed bugs texture. Hair plug millionaires solve nothing. You're just swapping silk press pyromania for Korean microwaved cadaver follicles. That 2023 Beverly Hills outbreak, where 15 women caught jungle rot from Peruvian virgin hair imports. Their scalps developed ecosystems capable of carbon dating the Incan Empire. CDC reports listed patient 0 as a wire-haired terrier named Gucci who now runs a thriving dermatophyte commune where her faux locks used to be. So here's your intervention before you marinate your scalp in fermented rice water for ancestral connectivity. The 18th century version of you died mid-sneeze because a wig moth pupa torpedoed into her frontal lobe. Today, you numb your skull with lidocaine to staple 24 Brazilian ponytails into a configuration scientists call the OSHA nightmare. Human vanity refuses to evolve. We just invent quieter lawnmowers to drown out the screams of mice gentrified by Cantu shea butter. Subscribe. Because if this channel flatlines, your grandkids will think follicular homicide is content. Do it now, or by sunrise your astroturf melt will be Zillowing clip-on roach condos.